Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
If you have not done so, go ahead and mute yourself, please. All right, it's 2 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Colette Sykes. I'm the Chief Housing Officer with the Housing Authority of the City of Shreveport. For those who may not be familiar with our agency, we refer to ourselves as HACS. That's the acronym for Housing Authority of the City of Shreveport. So that way you'll be familiar whenever we refer to ourselves as HACS. I would like to welcome all of you to the HACS Landlord Workshop to provide you with an overview of the new and exciting software we will be implementing, Bob AI. This workshop is being recorded and will be available for you and the applicants and participants to view at a later date. But by being here live with us, you're able to submit your questions through 2 different platforms. You can use the Zoom chat box, which I see a couple of people have already started saying hello and good morning or good afternoon. So you could go down to your chat and put in your questions, or you can also do the LinkedIn platform, which I believe the link has been put into the chat as well. So there's a team behind the scenes that are assisting with reviewing and answering your questions. So please feel free to put your questions in there, especially as we proceed and go on. Let me get this out of the way up front. There is no cost to you or any program participants for the software. So HACS is paying the cost for everyone to utilize it. So I think you're going to find that Bob AI is very user-friendly. Again, this is free, okay, for everyone. So don't think we're here to sell you anything, because we're not. By implementing Bob AI, this is going to help improve the process of issuing and receiving the request for tenancy approvals, which is also referred to as RAFTAs. So that's another acronym that we use quite a bit, is RAFTA. So this in turn will get your unit inspected sooner and help the families quicker that we serve. I see a few people are continuing to join us, so we'll begin the presentation in a few minutes with Ms. West, who is our admissions supervisor, and she'll walk you through this process and show you a few quick videos. But first, let me say a big thank you to everyone who has taken time out of your busy schedule to be here with us to attend. I know you have a lot on your plates, and I appreciate you being here so you can learn how only not to help us, but to assist those families who so desperately need your units. That's the reason that we're all here. The HACS staff behind the scenes has worked very hard along with the team at Bob AI, so we could implement this very quickly. Even though it's a quick implementation, be sure to understand it's not something that the HACS staff rushed into without considering the needs of our partners, such as you and the program participants. One additional thing before I hand it over to Ms. West, the platform is going to remove the paper RAFTAs and the need to email and fax, drop off at the mail slot. So you and the participants will have access to the software from anywhere, from a desktop computer, a laptop, your mobile device. Like everything else, there's going to be a learning curve, but that's what we're here for, and the excellent supportive staff at Bob AI will be there to assist everyone as well. So effective Monday, June the 14th, we will no longer be accepting paper RAFTAs, and we'll be moving toward the electronic RAFTAs. Again, I thank you for joining us, and now we'll turn it over to Ms. Alexandra West.
Hello, thank you, Ms. Sykes. Like she stated, I'm Alexandra West. I'm the admissions supervisor here at the Shreveport Housing Authority. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. These are some of the topics that we're going to be covering in today's workshop. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the HCV program, as Ms. Sykes has already given you a brief overview of HACS as a whole. HCV stands for Housing Choice Voucher Program. The new opportunities that the eRFTA platform have afforded us, how to list your unit on the new platform, rent reasonableness and the eligibility requirements that the new software assists with, the new process that comes along with the new eRFTA platform, and that includes inspections as well as HAC contracts. Okay, so what exactly is the Housing Choice Voucher Program? The HCV program provides low-income families with the opportunity to locate affordable, decent, safe, and sanitary housing. Okay. I'll go over a few of the new opportunities that come with this new platform, one of them being the eRFTA that Ms. Sykes touched on. So no more paper RFTAs, no more wondering if the case manager has received the RFTA, where that RFTA is at in the approval process. And you'll also now be able to chat with the HACS staff here through the chat feature on the new platform during business hours. Okay, so we're going to go into a short 3-minute long video giving an overview of Bob.ai.
In this video, we are going to give a general overview of Bob AI. This is the home screen of Bob AI. All of the apps that you will have access to will be listed here. One app that everybody has is My Account. If your relationship is already set, the screen will look like this. Landlords don't necessarily need a relationship to an agency. You can submit a Rafta without a relationship. And if your unit is rented, then your relationship to that agency will be automatically set. If your relationship is not set, My Account will appear in red letters. If you have a unit already rented, you want to set the relationship. The easiest way to establish your relationship to an agency is to enter the relationship code. Your PHA usually provides this to you by email or sometimes by postal mail. As a landlord, it is important that your industry is selected as landlord or real estate professional, here under business relationship. You should also select your role accurately. Selecting the right role here is very important. Maintenance technicians in your organization will not have access to the Manage Rafta, for example. You can invite your coworkers here. Multifamily property managers should invite rental managers and maintenance technicians for the full experience. You can add their name, email, select their role, and enter other details about them. You can also set up their contact information, such as name, phone numbers, and address. You will see these details here. And if you are connected through Google or Facebook logins, you will see that here. On the left side of the home page, you will have an option to chat with other users. You can search for a person. You can see their contact information or click to chat with them. Or you can see all of the group chats that you worked with in the past. All the group chats, all the Rafta groups, all the cases, everything will be inside Conversations. And some of the options that you have here includes List My Unit. You can click that to list the units you have. Rental Leads is where you can see all the vouchers and chats with My Case Manager. You can always click this button to chat with your case manager. If you click it, it will open a pop-up window like this. You can select the reason for the chat and submit. After that, You can send a message to your case manager and they will respond. There is an Inspections app where you can view all of your inspections. This is where you can reschedule them, confirm them, etc. In Manage Rafta, you can go through all of your Raftas that you have in progress and submit for the PHA to approve. All of the apps have these question marks in the top left corner. You can always click them to see the detail of what that app does.
Okay. Listing your unit with Bob.ai. You can list each of the units that you currently have available, and the software will automatically match you with potential tenants that have vouchers that can afford that unit. Potential tenants will also be notified when new units are listed that are within their affordability. We will go ahead and watch this video on how to list your unit with Bob.ai.
When you click on the List My Unit icon, it takes you to this page and you can list your vacant units anywhere in the United States here. If you have listed units in the past, you can click on one of the existing floor plans and select it, or you can add a new one. You can enter the rent amount here. For example, I will enter $1,200 for the monthly rent amount. If you allow pets, select Yes, and then you can add all the needed details. If not, you would select No. Next is designating who is listing the unit, either the agent or the owner. In this case, I am the owner of the unit. But agents can also list the unit and find renters for them. I'm adding a 2-bedroom unit in Riverside located on Cypress Boulevard, house number 8953, Dallas with zip code 75019. Then the general information about the unit is added. I will click Next and move on to this part, which is the utilities and appliances. First, select the structural type, and then you can enter information about the utilities and appliances. For example, this is a single-family unit. And then select the type of heating and cooking. For this unit, the heating and water heating are natural gas, but the cooking is electric. You can also select who is paying for each of the utilities, the owner or the tenant. In this case, the owner pays for water, sewer, and trash collection. You can also designate if the appliances are provided by the owner or the tenant. In this case, the refrigerator is not provided by the owner, but the range or microwave is provided. After you edit all the details about the unit, you can click on Submit and save your floor plan. We recommend that multifamily property managers input the same floor plan names you use internally so your colleagues can recognize it later. Now the system will look for all the vouchers that are listed with Bob AI, and it will provide the number of vouchers that are a match for this unit. Now, at the moment, there are 16 renters on Bob AI that can afford this unit. The next step is to message one of those renters, and we can also request them to disclose their phone number and email address. Just note that this still needs to pass the rent reasonableness check. All of the units that you see here are affordable for those vouchers, so you can click View All Matched Renters. Now this will open those 16 clients. You can see here what agency provides those vouchers and how long they will remain valid. You can see the number of bedrooms and the number of the renter. In this case, it's hidden unless they decide that they want to share those details with you. We can see that they have all been contacted, meaning they all received messages via email and/or their mobile app from Bob AI, alerting them that there is a new unit that's affordable for them. You can contact each of these through the group chat. Note that if they have shared their contact information, you will see that here, or you can use the group chat to chat with them. Their case manager is also included in the group chat, so group chat consists of a landlord, the client or tenant, and their case manager.
The rent reasonableness. So once the RFTA has been processed, a rent reasonable study will be conducted on that unit. 3 unassisted units that are similar to the unit that's listed on the RFTA will be compared to make sure that the proposed rent of the unit listed on the RFTA does not exceed market price. If the unit is above market price, it may not be approved. If this occurs, a case manager will contact you using the chat feature and discuss the proposed rent. A couple of things that we take into consideration when conducting a rent reasonable study. However, this is not limited to this. The location, the size of the unit, the amenities, and the utilities that you provide as the landlord or owner. The 40% rule is put in place by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which we call it HUD. And that essentially is that the tenant's portion of the rent and utilities cannot exceed 40% of their household adjusted monthly income. Bob.ai automatically checks the affordability of the tenant. Much like the video stated, it will inform you of tenants that are currently voucher holders that can afford your unit. The RFTA process. So once you've located a tenant who you would like to rent to, you can create and submit the RFTA through bob.ai. So you no longer have to request paperwork from the tenant. You can do it all in one place. It's submitted to the case manager. Once the RFTA is submitted, it'll be sent to the tenant to electronically sign the RFTA. So you don't have to worry about sending it separately to the tenant to sign. Bob.ai does that automatically. And now we're going to watch 3 short videos. It should be about 13 minutes altogether on how to create and manage the RFTA.
This is the Manage Rafta app. Here you can see all of the Raftas that you have in progress or the ones that are already approved. You can see the Rafta number here, the date it was created, the address that you listed, the name of the client, the agency that issued the voucher, and the current status of the voucher. You can click here to turn the filters on. If you want to search by Rafta number, creation date, or anything else, in the status field, you can see, for example, how many Raftas you have in draft, meaning you have to complete the documentation. You can see the Raftas that you approved, that you have submitted, or the ones that have been returned to you. You can search by the name of the client or any other name. For example, like I'm entering here. You can also sort by date, ID number, or address of the unit. You can also message the renter at any time. You can click here and send a message to the renter, and the case manager will see this also. And then, the very important button is Create Rafta. You can create the Rafta for any agency in the USA. Enter the name of the agency, and you can select from the list. Then enter the name of the voucher holder. Now, I can list the unit that I have agreed to work on with this client. I can select any existing plan that I've listed in the past, or I can list a unit with a new plan. So let me list the new unit and enter the rent that I want for the unit. Do you allow pets? I can select yes or no. If yes, I will enter the details about any restrictions and what is allowed. Then I can select if I'm the agent or the owner, filling in the documentation. In this case, I'm the owner, and I'm listing a 2-bedroom unit in my Riverside property. The unit number is 26. The city is Sacramento. The state is California, and the zip code is 95814. Then I will click Next and select the structure type of the unit. In this case, it is a detached house. Here I can select who pays for what services, the owner or the tenant. For example, heating is natural gas paid by the tenant. Cooking is electric paid by the tenant. Water heating is natural gas and paid by the tenant, with the owner paying for water, sewer, and trash collection. As for the appliances, the refrigerator is provided by the owner, but the range microwave is provided by the tenant. After you have completed this, you can click on Next and begin signing all the documents electronically. The full Rafta package consists of 6 forms. You can save incomplete forms. However, the form has to be complete before you can sign. When all forms are completed and signed, you can submit the Rafta. That will automatically send an email to the client to sign. The client cannot edit the Rafta. If they need changes made, they will return the Rafta back to you. When the client signs, the Rafta will be submitted to the Landlord Services team. If they approve the Rafta, then initial inspections will be scheduled. If you are a new vendor to the agency, your relationship to the agency will also be established automatically. So, let's start looking at all forms. By my signature below, I, Milan J., am the owner of this property. I need to disclose if I am related or not related to this client. If I am related, then I should know that there is a relationship conflict. In this case, I am not related and I can sign the form. So after I have added my name, signed and dated, then I will save this form. This will take me to the next document. Please note that not all the documents will be the same, as these are different based on the PHA that you're working with. For example, in this case, we have a Rafta supplemental form for some of the other PHAs. This may be called an additional amenities form. Here I will again select the dwelling type. The unit condition is good. Number of bedrooms are copied from the My Unit form. The number of bathrooms is 1. The year built is 2000. The census tract is a field that will be populated automatically later. Now, I will select the amenities. For example, garbage disposal, garage, laundry facilities, etc. Does the landlord provide services or not? You can select all of these items and sign this form. Once you sign the form, it will be locked. If you need to make edits, then click on the Unlock button at the top of the screen. The signatures will be removed, and then you will have to sign again after the edits are completed. The reason for this is to ensure that the Rafta package is complete. Now I will sign this form and save it. After this, we can go back to this document and see how locking and unlocking works. This form that was just completed is called a supplemental form and is now locked. This means I cannot change anything on that form. It is ready to be submitted. If you want to unlock and edit the form, just note that the signatures will be removed. If you want to proceed, select Yes, and you can update the form and sign it again. If not, you would select the No button. So let's continue signing the documentation. One other form that is required is the owner verification form, or vendor verification, depending again on the PHA. This form states who the owner is, who the payee is, and in case you are an agent, you will need to fill in the authorized agent or agency portion, then the landlord's certification section, and then sign the form. If an authorized agent is completing this, you will provide the management agreement as an attachment. I will now pause briefly and fill in all the fields. After you fill in everything, you will sign this form. Now, this is telling me to fill in all the required fields, which means that some of the fields are not completed. You will be able to scroll back and see which field is missing. For example, here the phone number is missing. I will now edit it. Please note that in the Payee section, it is crucial to provide the same information that you have in the W-9. If the information is different, your Rafta will be returned back to you. After I edit this field, I will be able to sign the document. As for electronic signature, the question is, are you sure you want to apply your signature to this document? The electronic signature will have the same legal effect as the handwritten signature. Once you confirm that you agree to sign electronically, you can sign and enter the date. Again, this part needs to be filled in if you are an authorized agent. After this, we will move to the direct deposit form. This form again is based on the PHA that has the voucher holder. In this example, the direct deposit form needs to be done on an external platform. And all the instructions are here. For some customers, the form needs to be downloaded. You have the download button here. Once the form is complete and locked, click the download button, and it will download the form directly from your browser. After that, you can continue. All the details about required forms are added in the additional documents. For example, here you have the Rafta cover page and instructions that you can click to open in another tab. You can also download the W-9, complete it, and upload it. Some PHAs also require the inspection readiness checklist, and some require the direct deposit form. If an authorized agent is submitting the Rafta on behalf of an owner, they must ensure that they upload a signed management agreement with the owner's signature. The way to upload the document is to select the type of document you're uploading, such as the management agreement, the direct deposit form, or the rental agreement. For example, I will now upload the W-9. I will select it, find it on my personal computer, and start uploading. Once the form is uploaded, you can select Next to continue. You will see, based on this blue color, that all the documentation is filled in, and you can start filling in the request for tenancy approval. Most of the fields are already populated based on your answers from before. You will need to fill in the requested lease start date and enter the security deposit amount. Another field is when will the unit be available for inspection. This is an important field because, based on this response, your inspection will be scheduled, so you should put the date when the unit will be ready. After that, you will select the structure type. If the unit is subsidized, you should select which type. All the utilities are already populated from your answers before. You cannot change them from here. You would need to go back to your unit section and update them there. Also, you need to check one of the following answers based on lead paint disclosure and common areas. You can read the instructions and select if any of these apply. And the last step is to sign the documents. This is the name, the business address, and the telephone number. You need to put in the date and sign the document. As I said before, you can save your work at any time. Then once you have signed the form, it is ready for submission. After this, you can submit the Rafta package. If there is anything wrong with the Rafta package, you should see an error in the top right corner if you are missing any documents. Let's go back and make sure that all of the fields here are blue and that everything is uploaded in the additional documents as the PHA requires. After you have that, you can click on Submit the Rafta package. Then it will go to the client, and the client can sign from their side and submit. Then, the PHA will review and approve. Next time you create the Rafta for any agency, most of your data and attachments will be reused, making the process much easier for you. Thank you.
Okay. The process once the RFTA is submitted. The HACS staff will review the RFTA to ensure that the unit type is eligible, the rent is reasonable, the security deposit amount is approvable, the rent is reasonable, the security deposit amount is approvable, and to check the affordability. Sorry about that. Okay. How long is it going to take to approve the RFTA? So the process time is generally 2 to 3 weeks. Once the RFTA is complete, it can take 3 to 5 business days for us to schedule a unit inspection. If the RFTA is not complete, the case manager will contact you with any additional documentation that's needed. The date that the tenant is allowed to move into the unit is determined by you, the owner, not HACS. However, we do not recommend allowing the tenant to move in before the unit has passed inspection. The HAP contract cannot be dated before the unit has passed inspection, meaning that we cannot reimburse you for any amounts owed for the time that the tenant resided in the unit prior to the unit passing inspection. The HACS contract will be activated and payment will be made once a copy of the lease agreement is submitted, the direct deposit forms have been completed. The HAP contract and lease addendum have been signed, and then payments are made every first of the month, no later than the 5th day of each month via direct deposit. Okay. Ms. Sykes, do you have anything to add?
I do not, other than I hope everyone takes advantage of this opportunity to ask any questions. There is no such thing as a stupid or crazy question. So we're here to help you. So please, you don't have to ask it out loud. You can put it in the chat. Will we be able to unmute them so they can ask it out loud if that's what they choose to do?
I'm sorry, you asking me or Bejoy?
Bejoy, or do they need to submit it to the chat?
Yeah, no, we can unmute everyone. Milan, can we unmute everyone?
Yes, everybody who wants to ask a question can unmute themselves.
Okay, thank you.
I do see that Miss Blackwell has her hand raised.
Okay.
Ms. Blackwell, do you have a question? Okay. Does anybody have any questions for us?
I see someone has asked, can two people use the system in the same office?
The answer would be that you can create separate accounts. There is no reason for you to share the account, but if you choose to do it, yeah, you can. There is no cost to you in creating two separate accounts, and that will be linked to the same property manager account. So both users will see the same information.
Okay.
For example, one person can fill in some portion of the RFTA, the other person can do the remaining. One may be filling in the RFTA, other person may be signing.
Okay, I think it's going to be no different than the same thing staff in our office. We all have individual accounts as well, so people in your office can do the same thing. I'm going to kind of go in order to make sure we don't miss anyone. Miss O'Neill has asked, we have to sign up for an account. Yes, you do have to register yourself to have access, but it is free in case you missed it at the beginning. There is no cost to you or to the participants to sign up for the account. I think we already got Ms. Brock's question. Ms. Stinson asked, are current units automatically being enrolled in the system? No, ma'am, Ms. Stinson, you're going to have to list your own properties. Is that correct, Bejoy? They will have to.
Yeah, it's mostly correct, but at the same time, people have already rented to HACS. So the fact that you already have a unit and you're a multifamily property and you might have a unit, that information is available to the renters who are looking. So they might be able to reach out to you even if you don't take any action.
Okay. Ms. Rubin, what's your question? Do you want to ask it out loud or?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I think I got sidetracked with the question she just asked. So when we do our existing tenants, like the tenants that we already have in the units, is there like, because I saw something about a referral code, like a code. Is there a certain code we already use for the ones that are already currently in the unit? Like, how do we go about uploading all those?
Are you talking about units that are already occupied by voucher holders?
Yes, ma'am.
You won't have to take any action on these. These are strictly for vacant units that you're wishing to get leased that have also voucher holders that are searching. So you won't have to do anything right now for your units that are under lease.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Correct. This This is for those that our units become available. So if your tenant moves out of your unit and then you now need to find a new tenant, that's where you would go in and list your unit so that it would match with some voucher holders.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay, now, thank you.
You're welcome. Will there be a website with this info for review, rent reasonable, how to determine and to take into account the increases in property taxes and inflation? The website, Mr. Tarver, do you want to elaborate a little bit more when you say to review this info? What info specifically are you asking about the rent reasonableness?
No, this would just be the tutorial that we went through just now, something to go back, a video to look at all of the steps, because there are several steps here involved. And then also when, as the current system is, I'll have a tenant bring me an RTA form and they're saying that they're allowed for the rent that I'm posting. And then when it takes about three weeks later, I come to find out they're probably $100 less than what I'm asking. So I kind of need to know, as time goes on, the property taxes increases, cost of living, et cetera. Rents seem to be kind of stagnant. They're not covering, these increases. And I don't know if there's some easier way to find out in the area what reasonableness is. How is that determined?
Well, we use and we encourage everybody to list your properties on Go Section 8 when that is the system that we use to determine rent reasonable. And you also have the ability to add units or ask someone else. Now, remember, these are going to be units that are going to be comparable to the open market, to unassisted units. So it's not because the government is not going to pay more just because someone is on Section 8 than what is allowed in an open market. Now you can, bring it to our attention if there's one that was denied or something, and we would be happy to look into it. But to answer your question about for information to go back and to look, yes, this will be all on bob.ai. Is it .com? Bobai.com?
No, bob.ai, just bob.ai.
Okay, bob.ai. So the link is up here in the chat if you want to see the link up there, but that's where the video will be posted at.
So yeah, when you log into that website, you will see all these videos that we played there. So when you are working on an RFTA and you have a question, then you can play the video, and there is also written help.
Okay, Ms. Brock asked, do you have to enter the auto pay information for each time you have a new tenant, or is it saved the first time you use it? Are you speaking of the direct deposit information, Ms. Brock? I'm assuming that's the direct deposit information. Is that saved each time, or do they have to input that information every time?
So are we?
Oh, Ms. Brock says yes. So the direct deposit information. So she wants to know, is that saved, or does she have to enter it every time she puts in a?
They don't have to. All the management agreement, direct deposit. So once entered, it stays forever. Like they can reuse it with your agency or with any other agency.
Right. Does that answer your question, Ms. Brock? Let's see. Great. Okay, so that's good for her. Ms. Blackwell, I have 2 properties under Section 8. Can I still use this program? Yes, ma'am. That's what this is for. So for the properties that you're wanting to list under the Housing Choice Voucher Program, Ms. Blackwell. So those properties can be listed when they're available. Ms. Omberg, do we have to download the management agreement for all new tenants, or will it be automatic? Download the management agreement. Once you upload, is this correct? The management agreement. So if you're talking about you're managing a unit for an owner, are you asking if you have to upload that every time? Ms. Omberg.
She
Said yes.
she's saying yes.
Okay, thank y'all. So what would the answer would it be with every attachment, or once it's there?
No, they don't have to, like for the same owner and same agent combination. So if you are uploading it once, then there is no need for you to upload it again, because it's going to be reused. So.
But if it's a different owner, but the same agent, it would have to be uploaded.
They'll have to upload it again.
Yes.
Yes. Does that answer the question? Okay, got it. Great. Good deal. Thank you. Thank y'all for asking these questions so we can all learn. This is not directly related, but can tenants be in a lease purchase or lease to own agreement? Right now, our home ownership program is not accepting new enrollments, but I guess if we did go that route, Bijoy, has anybody done that across the nation?
This is a common question that has come up many times.
Uh-huh.
So tell me if I misunderstood the question. So the question here is, there is already a tenant and there is already a HAP contract, and then the owner wants to sell it and someone else wants to buy it. So how does that transaction go through while the tenant can still stay in the same property, and the new owner can continue to receive the rent? So the way some other agencies have handled that is there is a change of ownership form. You fill that in, and then the new owner, the HAP contract gets transferred to the new owner, and the tenant can stay, and the rent, everything stays without any reinspection. So that may not be, yeah. So that question I am familiar with. It comes up very, very often.
Was that
then the tenant? Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying, so then the tenant is able to purchase the home once they're in a position to get qualified for a mortgage loan. Say 2 years into the leasing, they are able to purchase it from the owner, from myself.
Now, is that with using the voucher or being just an open market family? Because right now our home ownership program is not enrolling new voucher holders to purchase properties, but we do hope to have that up and going again. So I just want to know, are you talking about using the voucher to purchase the house?
Well, not necessarily. It's just that I have a tenant who's in the property now, and she wants to buy a home. And so I told her I would consider selling it to her once she's able to get in a position to get a mortgage loan. So I wanted to know from that perspective, could I do a lease purchase contract with her if we decide to move forward in that route? And then once she's able to purchase, and then we go ahead and do the purchase. But also just for going forward, if I have other tenants that may, want to purchase a home, and if that's something that will be an option for them as well.
We're going to get back on that because I think that's a little bit off of getting the wrap in the unit. But if you want to call me directly, Ms. Adams, and let's talk about that. But I think that's going to be different from getting the unit initially leased and everything through the Rafta process. Okay.
Okay. Will you email me your contact info, or
Ms. West,
I can write it down now?
Can you send her a message, please, and give her our contact information? Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. Adams. Let's see what else we had. Ms. Chisholm, do you mind elaborating? Can we use the letter or representation? I'm not understanding what you're asking. Is Ms. Chisholm still with us? Okay, if she comes back, we'll go back because I'm not understanding that question. Mr. Tarver, I am purchasing new properties occupied by housing tenants. What will I have to do? You would just need to notify us that you have purchased the new properties, and the HAP contract will be transferred over into your account. So nothing, that is not changing the process of how it's already being done. You just notify us that and provide the deed and everything. So that's different than getting people into your units. Does that answer your question, Mr. Tarver?
Yes, it does. Thanks.
You're welcome. Ms. Shelton, if we are currently under direct deposits for existing tenants, do we still need to add for new move-ins? Do you know what they're asking, BJoy, about if they're currently under, they have properties on the program now, they're getting direct deposit, will they have to upload their information when they add new units?
Add new move-in. The direct deposit form is not required for existing vendors. So the answer is no.
Okay. So no, you would not have to do that. It's only for those new landlords who are being
Set up as a vendor.
As a new vendor, being set up as a new vendor your first time. So once you're set up and you're just adding new properties, then you're already a vendor. Did that answer the question, Ms. Shelton? And Ms. Blackwell, yes, the webinar is being recorded for you to listen to at any time, and you can go to bob.ai and it will be on the website to listen to it anytime. And I see BJoy already answered that. I'm here and I do not have audio. Okay.
There is a question on, can they use the letter of representation in place of management agreement?
I'm not sure I know what a letter of representation is in place of a management agreement. I would think as long as it's signed and by both parties, I'm just not familiar with the letter of representation. If anybody can help me on that. Anybody know what a letter of representation versus management? We use it when we go to eviction.
There is an explanation saying, can we use the letter of representation in the place of the management agreement?
Yeah, and I'm not sure what a letter of representation in place of a management agreement means. If you're talking about your management,
it's a letter that they give them that says
Eden usually does once you get full.
Once you get what? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm at work. I was talking to a coworker. Let me see if I can mute myself.
It's basically a letter that they give saying that they can speak for the company. The letter of representation.
Okay, well, yes, if you're talking like you're a manager of an apartment complex, then we would need that. A management agreement that we're speaking of is if Colette owns a piece of property and I ask Ms. West to manage my property, then she would need a management agreement to act on my behalf, not as an employee of a business. So we wouldn't need that kind of management if that's what you're speaking of, that you are an employee of a company and you're managing for an apartment complex. We wouldn't need a management agreement. Yes, that's it. Okay, that's what okay, thank you. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else have any other questions? Sounds like this. Sounds like. I'm not sure. Under Miss Blackwell says I guess this is Miss Blackwell. Sounds like it's the same as a HUD Section 8 voucher.
So the HCV program was formerly known as the Section 8 program. We now refer to it as the Housing Choice Voucher Program. It's the same thing, just a name change. Did that answer your question, Ms. Blackwell?
Okay, great, thank you. Anything else that we have? Again, beginning on Monday, June the 14th, we will no longer be taking the paper Raftas. So you will need to go ahead and register your account, get your employees set up if it's not going to be you, and be ready to get everything going. And of course, we will be here with you to answer any questions that you might have along the way. Again, the staff at Bob AI will be available to assist during this. We don't foresee it, being very difficult, but we know different people have different challenges and so forth. So please, anything that you have questions about, please reach out to us and let us know. We'll be happy to assist you.
Ms. Sykes, Ms. Rubin has one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yes, Ms. Sykes. Okay, so when they do it, like, when y'all give us that, when you give them the packet with, I think it says, with all the different numbers on it, with the amounts of what their rent will be, will that be online too for us to be able to see the work?
That's automatic now. So you're referring to the "Can I afford the unit" that I've
on this unit
That's their affordability worksheet. Yeah.
Okay. So will that be online too? Because I know, will the process be long like it has been, like with getting paid for the unit, or will it be quicker? Because technically when they bring it in, I will look at the amount y'all will put on there, the second number for how much their portion of that rent is. I'll look at that to let them know, okay, well, until housing is able to pay us, can y'all bring this amount in to the rent? How would we go about doing that?
Okay, just so you know, the affordability that is something that they technically do not have to provide to landlords. All that is telling them is what they can go shopping for. So what that means is HUD mandates that they have to pay 30% of their income toward rent, but they cannot exceed 40%. So for every basically every dollar that is below their affordability, that is saving them money. So that is something that, and we tell them in briefing that they do not have to hand that out. That is just something that is given to them to help them to know what they can go and rent a unit for. So your question is, you want to know, one more time, you want to know what?
My question is, sometimes people get, I'm just trying to see the best way how to word this. I'll discuss it later. Yeah, because I was just trying to, I'll email you.
I think she's talking about their portion of the rent.
Yeah, I'm just trying to determine what their portion of rent. I understand that they don't have to show us that sheet of paper, but sometimes it might take 3 months for us to get paid. But I don't like the tenants to get behind. If it takes y'all 3 months to pay us, then they have to come up with $600 when we get that rent notice change in the mail. If you get what I'm saying, I like to just have the tenants ahead and for us to be on the same page. For this is what y'all are supposed to bring in. This is the amount.
I got you.
I guess that's the only thing I'm worried about is if it takes longer for us to get the check.
No, it will. No, this process will help us, in fact, speed up the process, not slow us down. And that's the reason that we are going to it, is so that it will help. Because right now, by everything being paper, and we're having to review everything and make sure now we got to send it back to you because this wasn't filled out or the date, the software will automatically be reviewing that information. Now, we will have to review things that you upload and things of that nature. But the system is going to be doing the scheduling of the inspection. So it's not a person, physically making out the schedule and everything. So in turn, we will get a HAP contract quicker to you, which in turn will release payments.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to make sure that, yeah, I get it. If I have another question about it, I'm not explaining it.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to, because I'm so used to waiting a while to get paid. So that's why I just always like the tenants and me and the tenants to be on the same page. Okay, so they don't get behind in rent. If you get what I'm saying. If it took 2 months for us to get on how much their rent would be of that amount.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Yeah, so that's the only question kind of I had, that I just wanted to make sure, on how that would go about doing that.
Okay. Yes. And so here, and I'm sorry, Miss Brenda asked, how are the initial inspections scheduled? How are the initial inspections scheduled? The initial inspections will be scheduled automatically after the Rafta is approved. So the software will automatically be scheduling the inspections. Does that answer the question?
It's using the date that you have on that Rafta. I think it is called the field date, where you put the date that the unit is becoming available, and then that is the date it is going to use. And then you can of course change it if the unit is not ready on that day for some reason. Then you can change the inspection date yourself.
And we have run into that here lately, especially I know a lot of apartment complexes are advising me that even though they put, let's say, June the 10th, the unit will be ready for inspection based on their maintenance schedule or whatever, and then something has happened that maintenance staff wasn't available or whatever, so they're having to push the date back. So this will be automatic. So even if we have scheduled and you're canceling that, you will update it and then the computer will automatically generate. So it's going to be in your hands. And that's not going to be up to somebody in the office calling, is this unit really ready for inspection? It's going to automatically be scheduling the inspections based on that date. Any other questions? Bijoy, you have anything else?
No, we covered everything, I think.
Ms. West, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, ma'am, I think we covered pretty much all of it. But again, we are available if you do have questions once you start actually getting into it.
There is one question.
Yes, I see that. What if an applicant comes in and says that they have a voucher? Will we be able to go on Bob AI and submit a Rafta for that applicant? Yes, you will be able to submit for that applicant. That's the whole process of it.
And just a side note, normally when we issue the voucher to the applicant, we actually issue them the paperwork as far as like the paper voucher, the paper RFTA. We will no longer be issuing that paperwork to them because when they come in and they state that they have a voucher and you would like to lease them up with your unit on our program, that's when you'll need to go in and use the eRFTA feature in order to fill that out. So it'll no longer be given to the tenant in paper format.
Ms. Johnson asked, once inspections take place and the unit passes, how long do we wait before a tenant can move in? Again, Ms. Johnson, that's between you and the tenant. We do not control when somebody can move into your property. Again, until there is an executed HAP contract with the housing authority, there is no agreement. Just because a family has been issued a voucher that does not guarantee them that they will be on the program. So until you and I have me being the housing authority, until the housing authority and you have a HAP contract, at that time is where we make the guarantee that we will pay rental assistance. So I can't tell you when to let somebody move into your unit. That lease agreement is between you and that tenant. So it's whenever you agree to let that tenant take possession of your unit. Does that answer the question?
But that move-in would be go by when the inspection passed, correct?
Yes,
Whenever they decide to move in.
Yes, if
Okay.
it passed inspection today and you want them to move in today, tomorrow, or June 15th, that's up to you.
Okay.
Anything else before we wrap up? I don't see anything else. So again, I thank y'all for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We're very excited. Understand there might be some hiccups, but we're going to work through this and continue to serve the families that are so desperately in need of assistance here in Shreveport. So we're very excited to get this going. So with that, I will close it out if there's nothing else. Thank you, Mr. Nunn. And thanks, somebody up there said, Miss Wright, I think it said, great presentation. Thank y'all so much. And I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.